Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Greg Bryant, and welcome to Demonosophy and Beyond. This is another book review. This time it's on Joshua Free's Vampyre's Handbook. I bought this on Amazon. It was $30-something, plus shipping and handling. And I have a lot of issues with the book that made it kind of disappointing. First of all, I am very familiar with energy manipulation techniques, and I've read other vampire books that deal with living vampires, real vampires, both energy and sanguine vampires. When I was reading this book, first of all, with the title, it's Vampyre's Handbook, Secrets of Modern Vampires. Everything in this book is not a secret, or a lot of the stuff. When I was reading the book, the thoughts were disjointed, and it was like they didn't take the time to think about how things should be arranged. It started out talking about vampires in history, like real vampires, but then it moved to vampires in pop culture. And I kind of understand how that is, because it's kind of like, okay, vampires were seen as evil, they were killed, there were superstitions surrounding them. Now they're seen more as fictitious, and they're more accepted, and they're seen as glamorous. And I understand that you have to understand the mentality about how, like, the image of vampires has changed. However, if this is going to be like an advanced book, there shouldn't really be any kind of like introduction like that, in my opinion, because this post itself is like the more advanced book, having more stuff in it than the guy had in the last book about vampirism. I feel like since I've gone over a lot of vampire lore, a lot of this was recycled information. A lot of it was information that you can either find on the internet, or you could ask a real vampire, and it's not really secret knowledge. Going back to the disjointed thoughts of this book, it throws in the goth culture, and I understand that this is where you will find vampires, but I feel like the goth culture has nothing to do with vampirism, because there are people who are living normal lives who are energy vampires. There are people who live normal lives, quote unquote normal, of course, who are not goth, who are sanguine vampires. It brings up goth music and stuff like that, and it's like, that has nothing to do with vampirism. Teach me vampirism. And when it does get to the techniques, it'll give you like a little bit of information that's not secret, something that I learned in Reiki, something I may have learned in another book about vampires, and then it'll go back to vampires in pop culture, or the goth culture, or music. Wow. It also talks about zombies and werewolves, and it's like, if I wanted to know about zombies and werewolves, I would buy a book about zombies and werewolves. And I understand that, like, the undead vampires are considered undead. So are zombies. But you're talking about living vampires. So zombies have no place in this book. Werewolves are werewolves. They have no place in this book. I don't know. Another thing is the book claims to have knowledge from a sect of vampires. The secret knowledge. And it's like, okay, why don't you write the whole book about this specific set? Because the set would have its own history. The set would have its own techniques. Instead of bringing up all this pop culture crap. Instead of bringing up all this other crap that's just filler. Because let's face it, this author doesn't seem to have enough information about what they advertise in the title to fill a book. So they stuff in other stuff to make it seem like, oh, this is relevant to the subject. Oh, this is teaching you something, and it's secret and stuff like that. And it's not. And I'm sick and tired of books about magic being like this. It's crap. So I can't, and I'm always wary about authors such as Joshua Free that write books on many different subjects. And I'm not saying that you can't know many different subjects in magic and many different aspects, because they kind of like overlap each other sometimes. Or just out of curiosity, you may learn about things. But you can't be a master at all aspects of magic. I feel like you can't write full books about multiple subjects of magic. Like 1, 2, maybe 3. But he has like a whole collection. And I feel like each subject takes a lifetime to master. And you may know a few things, you may have practiced a few things, but I don't, you have to, I'm not saying you have to, but I'm saying that in order to write a book that's in-depth, informational, and I feel like is beneficial for the reader, you have to specialize. And I feel like this person may be a jack of all trades and just filling his books with a lot of BS in order to put them out there and make money from them. And that is how I feel about this book. Beginners may not feel about that. They may feel like there's something enlightening in it. Maybe way back when I was a kid, if I had had this book and read it, it would have blown my mind. But it doesn't. So, I mean, don't necessarily take my word for it. If you're curious about the vampire culture, go ahead and buy the book. But I would recommend the works of Father Sebastian over Joshua Free. Or just meet a real vampire. Because I've talked to them too. And I feel like when you talk to somebody who lives the lifestyle, who practices the art, you get more out of it than from reading a book. Because you have interactions. You can ask questions right there, get answers right there that books may not answer. And I feel like with some people, not all people, they leave information out of books so that you can buy the next book. And it's all about marketing and money. And I'm not saying that it's wrong to teach for money. But if you're going to teach, teach. And, don't pull people's legs. Don't give people BS. Don't give people fluff. Because it just makes you look stupid. So, I hope everybody's doing good. And I hope everybody is reading and practicing and having fun with that. And I will talk to you next time.